This is amazingly.
Welcome to July DPRG meeting. A bit of an informal meeting today. We're in a swap meet, so we'll get started on that. Yeah, switch this around. All right.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, got the camera on there.
Fancy. Okay. I want to say, like I say, this is a Robocolumbus, and it came out of South Africa probably about 10 or so years ago. And what it was actually surprisingly advanced. Some of the features that it's got, and this is a good thing if you're ever wanting to do this. This is a infrared target here. All right, and so it has, if you look at the inside here, up under this hood, you can see that it's got a sensor that can pick up from multiple directions, which is a nice sensor and cost you about 15, 20 bucks if you buy one. Then, so when they would shoot, there was an infrared in here, and if you notice this design feature, it goes way back into here and shoots out. And what that does is it causes the infrared signal to be in a straight line. Otherwise, it defeats some of the spread. Okay. Yeah. No, I said that wrong. These two lasers here, two diodes here shoot out, but so it hits this and this returns a signal, and the signal has to go through that narrow thing to actually hit the sensor. So that means this thing has to be pointed directly at the target. And anyway, that's kind of a cool feature. It also has a, what do they call those things? Like, like how we go tag into the door. It has something like RFID. Yeah, it has like that you run over, and so if you run over it, it tags. So there's a lot of sensors in this guy. These do work. One of the disadvantages of this model is it takes a shitload of batteries. You need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in there. Oh, yeah. And I think you need another 4 in there, so that's 10. And this guy takes 2, I think. Yeah, so there's 12 batteries to power this dude up. This is a ball release. So one of the games that they played was you would go over here and hit this and knock the ball out. Just like that. And then I think it was sort of like soccer. And these are those tags that I was talking about that you have like on the door. And so there was a game where you would go over tag 1, tag 2, tag 3. Okay. So pretty interesting little thing. And anyway. Yeah. And I want to say the software is in here.
Yeah, I think I saw a CD in there somewhere.
There's a CD over here for sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about it here. I want to see if there's a CD in here. Yeah, I don't think there's a CD in here. So you might have to copy the CD. But anyway, anybody wants them, they're theirs. They just pick them up. There's a lot of sensors in there, a lot of good stuff. Or you can play. If you got a kid, this is cool. All right. So anyway, if you want it, grab it. And it's now up.
How long did it go up hills on that? How much torque does it have in hours?
It's pretty good. Pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's an outdoor robot.
Okay. I was just curious.
But inside. Okay. Here is a Nito lidar and a Get Surreal lidar controller board. I can show you what that was. And what this does is it helps you make an interface. Oh, and it even has the controller on it. The Teensy 2.0.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I didn't even know that. So this and this, you should, and going on the web and doing documentation, you should be able to.
Yeah, that Teensy software is pretty
You can
up to date.
easily get yourself up and running.
Right.
All right, and here. This is 2 encoders.
Oh.
And here's the encoder disk. Well,
There goes in.
which, you know, I was trying to be careful with. So here's the encoder disk, and it's also, I think it's a, what do you call it when it has a 0 position. Okay, so anyway, 2 encoders, 2 encoder disks, 2 encoders.
Nice.
So if you want to play with encoders, here's something to do. Here's some interesting, a set of wheels. I think these were originally for something like a Roomba or something. I'm not sure. If you feel the wheels, those are really nice wheels.
Yeah.
You know, they're kind of a cushy type. There is no encoder on them.
Yet.
However, you have a takeoff. So it would be no problem to put an encoder on. Though it would be a shaft encoder, output shaft encoder as opposed to a motor shaft encoder. Which means that
Okay.
you know, there's some sort of reduction gear, I'm sure.
Oh, I got you.
You know, this was a toy, you might remember, but it works. And the thing I got it at a Goodwill. This actually has a 640 by 480 camera in it, and it has 2 infrared things, and you can see in the dark. Which, if you have a kid, it's great. Or if you want to have a small, it ranges about from here to that wall.
It's not terrible.
Not bad. And it was a really kind of a cool thing. Anyway, so if any of this interests you.
Is the USB for taking off the images and stuff, or little USB port on top?
Yeah, I think so. There might even be a card in it. I don't know.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. This is a Spirobot. And the Spirobot.
Oh, one of those.
One of those lets you draw on ping pong balls or other stuff. Let me see if I had as an example ping pong ball in here. Oh yeah, here's one where you can see where it was used.
That's actually pretty good.
DPRG, Moon Day, yeah, 2014.
2014. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
10 years ago last week.
This is the power supply. It's a nice, if you just wanted a power supply, you know, it's pretty remote. I don't know if you have to you might have to stick a jumper in here between the 2 wires. Bunch of ping pong balls. This is the controller. It's a ramps board, and it has the thing to fit with that guy, and it has 2 servo motor controllers on it, and that part works.
It's like an Arduino Mega underneath it.
Yeah, and a bunch of Sharpie pens, which probably aren't any good, but could be good.
It's pretty dang cool.
And anyway, if you ever wanted to play with one of these things, or you wanted to just, I mean, it's even got a little, you know, if you want to take it down for parts, that's true, but it's got everything you need to do the job. And ping pong balls. All right. And then over here, got another set of motors. Here's their specs on this piece of paper. I'll put it over here. And
A bunch of bits. Nice.
I don't know if those receivers are that much, but here's a couple of
Old school servos and repeaters.
yeah, standard servos,
Mhm.
little radar sensor, shitload of yeah. I don't know anything about it. It was one of those things that I bought on an impulse. Plenty of these. And you say, well, Doug, why are you getting rid of all these? Well, it's because I went to I decided that the performance between stuff you get off of Amazon, and AliExpress and everything varies.
Mhm. Right.
And I wanted something that was going to be from cheap, but still be good.
Good
And
source.
so I'm
Yeah.
going to DF robot stuff.
Mhm.
All right, so there's nothing wrong that I know of with any of these. You can see that I've had them in use. This was one. Now these, I wanted to make at one time a colonometer, which was so that I could like put a paint sample or something and I'd know what the color was and I could match things up.
Sure.
All right, so these are a bunch of sensors to accomplish that. I got them from Radio Shack when they were closing, so I got a bunch of them for very inexpensive. Here's some 1 to 10 wheels. And here's some without hubs that are probably more expensive wheels, but
Right.
so you could take one of these, put them on there.
I'm feeling no excuse for not joining in the Columbus with all this outdoor stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what I got to offer. Anybody who wants
That's cool.
any of it can have it. Yeah. Okay, now,
Yeah.
in what I am going to do is before you guys even hear about it.
Yeah.
What color are these?
I think it's opaque black.
Opaque black on
Yep.
both of them?
Yeah.
I'll take the one piece.
There you go.
Okay. And so I'm going to take one piece.
Love it.
Okay.
All right. Mike, you want to go over yours?
Sure.
Your new baby? Or your
we'll
baby?
do
All right, this one me first.
The swap.
Hey, Mike.
So this is the
haven't seen you in ages.
AIBO, the doggy robot from a long time ago.
Yep.
And I have its papers and
Well, yeah, you got
and all of the goodies in here. So you got
lots
the,
of goodies. Yeah.
yeah. So we'll just take that out.
Yeah.
I haven't seen you around.
This is for, I've tried, I've had it for a while and I've repaired its neck a few times. The last time I repaired it, I got a new battery for it. And so it powered up and I got inside and repaired the servo. And it looked like it was working, but it wouldn't.
No, I
It
don't.
wouldn't boot up. It would sort of boot up and then say something's wrong.
Ooh.
And so there.
Wow.
So here's.
That looks really slick. So it has like a full walking motion. It's not on
Oh,
wheels or anything.
Right. So it's missing its tail.
I'm sure we could like 3D print it.
Right. But the LEDs in it work. So if I turned it on, it would work. The battery goes in here, but I took the battery out, of course.
Right.
And it's in the box in the top.
That's really
And
slick.
with a charger and everything. So it's a fully functional,
You can look.
has all the
Yeah.
pieces.
It has a lot of degrees of motion.
Oh,
Isn't it?
yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
arms out, forward, back, left, right.
Oh,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
And,
Good stuff.
I don't think that these are motorized. I
Sure.
think
They
it's,
just work with the. That's
So this is it for
that's cool.
show and tell.
Yeah.
All of it's.
Yeah. Hey, how you doing, Harold?
And
Take this, let's-
so its heads. The problem with this particular model is its head's weak. And
Okay.
so the neck always has issues.
Yeah.
But if someone wants it, they could rip it apart and take all the servos out and build something else with
That
it.
would be such a shame, wouldn't it?
It's might be all it's worth for spare parts
That's true.
or
That's
just
true.
parts for something
Little
else.
sensor on top.
Yeah, even the wheel, these even wiggle and.
I would be curious to see inside it for sure, but
Right.
I'm not sure I've had the heart. Such a good looking robot.
So if nobody wants it, I might ship it off to the Ivo doctor
The Ivo dog was actually,
online.
I shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
so I got a new battery for it.
Wow. Yep.
And it has the charger and the ball and the
Party mascots. Okay.
yeah. So it has
Little
all different kinds of codes.
little personality chips.
Personality chips. And so it has everything except I just I lost attention and I couldn't get it back up. I don't have enough attention span to bring it back up.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah. Cool.
But this is
And a little spare bot, which was super popular the other day.
yeah.
That thing was great. Love watching the kids roll around with that, having pew pew chase after it like a
Yeah.
puppy.
So I can control it today. And the idea of this ball is to put it in it here.
Oh,
And then I got something that can make look like a soccer ball
yeah.
for the theater production.
Okay.
They wanted an automated soccer ball. So I said, this is my
That
solution.
should work. That should work. Yeah.
And it rolls around.
Yeah.
It's not as accurate all by itself.
I was gonna say, like, if that wasn't hard enough to control by itself, people
Yeah, it
yeah,
just,
double
it just
it
has a little accuracy. It has a little more momentum than that has, and it's hard, to make it turn and stuff. But it does.
up. That's very cool.
Yeah. And then this is my new chassis for the.
Yeah, I can get down there.
So when it's done, I'll put the electronics in the cab here. See in the cab. I don't know if you can see on there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So there's a lot of space in there that's protected from the elements.
yeah. No
So I
kidding.
can put the computers in there, the sensors in there, maybe a lighter on top.
I do think you need a roof rack on it.
Put it together.
3D print a roof rack on that would be easy. Yeah,
I don't need much on the racket. Everything's gonna be inside.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And,
Just the lidar.
and so you can see here that it's a nice sensor brushless motor,
That is a big motor.
lots of batteries. I have an interface here for the, if I power it up, you can sort of see a light come on.
And what you do.
Maybe. Oh, I gotta do this.
Yeah, someone wants to join the call.
Now, if I wasn't so stupid and left my transmitter at home,
Mm-hmm.
I could have moved it. I could have demoed it moving. But you can sort of see here. So I brought all the wires out of the engine compartment because in here is the ESC and the receiver,
Okay.
and they were wired up inside of there. Then the wires came out to go to the servos and stuff like that that were outside. And so I brought those wires to here, and I can switch them to computer control. Like there's a
Nice.
RP 2040 zero board.
Yep, little tiny one.
Yeah, right. So I can remotely control it. And then inside of here, there's two 6-volt 4-amp regulators to power the electronics inside the cabin. So this would go to the cab. These three would go to the cabin. That's
Right.
the only connection. And
That's looking really cool. Yeah.
and so this works really well.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
so hopefully by this fall's thing, I can at least drive it by hand and maybe it'll be a little automated, but it's not going to do anything accurate.
Right. Well, so you're thinking about having the lidar, and I know you mentioned having the touch sensors on the bumpers.
Yeah, and I need time of flight sensors on the front for obstacle detection at the ground level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool.
I'll put them in the grill.
Oh, there you go.
So I plan to put it in the grill, time of flight, and then put time of flight sensors on the back and stuff. So I can, if I get stuck, I know something's back there. And I can, hopefully it can automatically get out of a situation.
Yep.
But it needs sensors to do that.
Cool.
All
right.
So that's my. I'm upset, disappointed that I didn't bring the controller.
I know. It's like, oh man.
Yeah.
All right. So we got some group going on over here. How you doing, Blue Steel?
And those are zeros.
I don't know if you can hear us okay, but we're just having a bit of a swap meet and we're just having a show and tell. So we're gonna go see what Harold's got over here. There's a little pixel board. Oh my gosh.
When I was looking for something at the house, I was looking for it. I ran across crap that I hadn't touched in 5 years. So I just started trying to get
interest in what they're
You got it. I picked it up and looked at it.
No, I want to keep all this stuff. I don't think you quite understand, because I want to keep all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's just if I can get it to a good home, I feel better about that.
Right. All right, Harold. So what are these things that you brought out?
Those things. Let's see. Let me make sure I put stuff back.
Is that a photon board in there, little particle?
That is a particle proton board. You're exactly right.
I got a couple of those. This is a nice.
Hang on a little bit. I gotta look to see what those are, because I had them in a nut. I think I know what they are. And mainly I want to put them in the bag. Okay. Let me show you. Yep, what we got.
Let me come around this side so I can see it better.
I'll start with probably the biggest thing I got.
All righty.
That right there is a complete computer. It's a Windows 10. It's running Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, which you'll probably have to put Linux on it or something. So I got this in like 2018 or something. Messed with it a little bit. Literally, you plug this into the back of your TV. Comes with an HDMI connector. Plug it in the back of your TV. Plug this power supply in it. Into that right there. And you get a place for a keyboard. And that is a complete computer if you would like to have a kiosk or any of that kind of stuff on it.
That is pretty slick.
This is a power supply that goes with these things. Let me tell you what these things are. So in here, I built a bunch of these because Particle gave me a bunch of protons for free one year because I was talking to the marketing people and I was giving a conference. So the idea is you plug this in a conference room, you log in the proton so you know what room this is in. So as you're giving talks and speaks and stuff, at this point it was a convention. In fact,
that convention.
it was that conference. And the idea was I only got a couple people that can do tech support. I only got a couple of folks that can run around, and I've got 27 rooms. I got a bunch of rooms on several floors because of the way the building layout is. So I plug this in, and if a speaker has a problem, they can hit the button and the thing will start flashing, and this has got information. So, hey, we've reported your stuff. Oh, it's acknowledged somebody's coming to help you. And then you have somebody watching on this, and what's in this thing is a particle photon and a very basic temperature humidity sensor, so I can see if it's too hot in the room and that kind of stuff. And I wrote an Azure function set of things, which is so far now gone by the way of the dodo.
Sure.
Where you can monitor this stuff on your phone, and you can say, "Oh, so and so is kind of hot. Let me go start handling that before they have a problem." Right? And that was the whole deal for all this. So you got a little bit of a transistor there for the power to power these buttons, the lights in them, and you got a particle photon that is already connected to the cloud, Arduino based.
Yeah.
And my 3D printed thing in there that going, and it powers all off of. That's what these things are for powering that stuff.
That's cool. That's very cool.
And if anybody wants it, if you don't, it's been this micro center bag, this micro center bag right here, those things have been living in this micro center bag for at least 5 years. So
I'm gonna grab one because you know what? These are like humidity sensors.
yeah, it's got it's got one of your favorite LCD things with an I2C backer on it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, cheers.
this is the win. Okay.
I am curious. All right.
I think I wanna.
Very cool. We got a whole bunch of different boards down here.
Yeah, and these are all Seed Studio sensors of some sort that I had in a box. That is just an Arduino shield, and I don't use that format of shields very much at all. So I'm gonna chunk that up, let that go.
Mike, you wanna get up a second? The camera's kind of up in this corner somewhere. It's kind of hard to anchor.
That you get at Micro Center for hooking up Amazon and having a voice module. You still that on top of a Raspberry Pi, you do some coding on it, and it will talk to you or record your voice and do some stuff. This is some digital interface thing that I was going to play with, and I never got around to playing with it. We got a Bluetooth thing, and
Over there.
a couple of Raspberry Pis here. These are the original Raspberry Pi
So you get a circle
that they came out with. Not original Raspberry Pi, the Pico,
and you can.
the very small ones. Pi
their
Zero.
application web.
You can code with them. You can do anything you pretty much want, but the deal is they don't have headers.
It's a controller.
They only have
It's,
one USB port.
Actually works with this.
So you're gonna, if you want to do anything on this thing, like plug in a keyboard, first thing you're gonna do is plug in a
This is
a
everything.
USB hub and then plug your keyboard into that. But this runs all the Raspberry Pi software, all that kind of stuff. It's not a very powerful board, but we all bought it because we got it for $1 or something.
I think it'll give you like 360 dots a day.
This thing here is pretty cool. I got two of them. So this is probably not even what you think.
This would be good for somebody who wants to dabble.
This is a circuit playground developers edition.
Because it's free.
Since it's round, it's in the wearable format, right? And what they have now, this is before the Express, Circuit Playground Express came out. This is the developers edition, so it doesn't quite do all the things the Express does. It doesn't quite. And
You'd have
that kind of
to.
stuff. But this is an Arduino. It has 10 RGB LEDs on it. It's got some motion in it. It's got a little bit of a microphone, a little bit of a speaker in the thing. It's got capacitive touch on some of these, almost every one of these can be turned into capacitive touch.
Right.
And it's got reset buttons. And the thing that this doesn't have on it, because I'm looking right now, that the other one does, is that the Developer Express has infrared sending and receiving. This one doesn't have that. And you can code it up using a Blockly. You can code that up using Blockly if you want, or straight up Circuit Python, or straight up Arduino. I got a bunch of LEDs in a box. They just turn on white. Nothing big deal. They have an RFID card and an RFID reader that goes into a well, it says GHI. GHI is the same one as the Fez Panda. That looks like an Arduino, but it's not an Arduino.
Grove stuff. I have a
If you're going to use it, I brought it in because hopefully somebody will use it, because I ain't used it in years. And so this Fez Panda here is running a .NET, a micro.NET. So it doesn't run Arduino code. So you can program it in C#. All that kind of stuff. Yeah. And this thing here, I thought this was way cool, but I haven't used it. I have not used it, so I'm offering it up for the grabs and the getter. One of the reasons I haven't used it, it has a pinout for the original Raspberry Pi. It's got the short headers.
Is that a Pi 1?
Yeah, it's like a pie B one pie, just pie. Yeah.
A pie.
And,
Not a
and,
number.
the, and the thing is, what it is, this they call it the Grove pie because you plug this in and
Wow.
it's got all the Grove sensor plugins on
Yeah.
it. So if you got a bunch of Grove things hanging around, you can plug those things in.
Grove centric. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I have a small little
Yeah.
card computer.
Uh-huh.
It's like an M5, like the FPGA that's got the growth text on it. I haven't got any grooves.
Yeah, that's why this board has been sitting and I haven't done anything with it, right? Because for a while there, I was doing Hackster.io, which is in the heyday of the like the day where they put a AI stamp on just every damn thing there is. I think that wall plug over there has an AI stamp on it.
Pretty sure.
Right,
Yeah.
pretty sure about that. Well, they were putting IoT on everything as well.
Right.
And I was in the middle of the Hackster IO, still an official Hackster ambassador, don't do very much with it, but they used to send us a whole bunch of stuff. And I suspect that's where I got that from, where all this stuff was coming in. They wanted us to do a talk on it or do a presentation on it so people would use it. And that's how I got a lot of this stuff and just flying around. Some of this stuff I did outright buy, like the Fed Panda, because I thought it was cool, but never did anything with it.
Is your display for swapping?
No. Okay, I might look like a moron.
Yeah.
And I was gonna be the coolest guy ever with that right there and use the Windows 10 IoT and write drivers for it. So that everybody else could use the Windows 10 IoT stuff, but that project died.
What is it?
A horrible death. So you throw that on top of a Raspberry Pi, like you just got a 2x20 header on it, so almost any of them work, right?
Yeah.
And it's got all kinds of stuff on there that doesn't normally have with the Raspberry Pi, like relays and stuff and other things that expand on that.
Yeah, I want to say,
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever got one of these or whether I looked at them.
I bought it and she's recording for the swap.
Oh,
Cool thing to my stuff. I think it's some clear for you and have that thin black stuff.
I'm gonna grab this.
Oh, be my guest. I know you love the ultrasonic.
Well, I like this is the one.
That's the one, yeah. It's an RFID card and an RFID reader that plugs in from the, they say GHI, but that's probably JSTSH.
Yeah.
One of the real small ones. And the idea was you code that up, you got an RFID reader, not even sure what version. The RFID reader is, but there you go. And any and all this, I say any and all this stuff. Not this apparently. It's up for grabs. The coffee mugs are really good. I still have 4 or 5 of them left. I mean, when I give them away every time I get a chance. Some people take them, some people don't. And when I did this Insider Dev tour, it was like, what Insider Dev is the pre-build, fast build for Windows and almost everything else. So you can get in the Insider Dev and get a new Windows version every 2 weeks if you want. That's up to you. You know, people like that. Because I'm an MVP, I sometimes jump on those particular bandwagons, see what happens. And because I'm involved with that stuff and an MVP, they were giving people lots of money to put up conferences and stuff together so that we could push the new and upcoming things like SPA, the single page apps. That was almost a brand new sort of thing. We started pushing that. Progressive web apps certainly was brand new. The whole web USB stuff, you know, we get a web browser and connect to a USB device on your local PC. That was, we were bringing that out then. And so they were throwing us a bunch of money. And one of the things I had to do was, they gave me money to do was buy swag. And swag.
Oh, swag.
So, and I've been through having been through this a couple of times, and then everybody whine, moan, complain about I didn't have this size, or I didn't have a female size, I only had the unisex size, or all that mess. Okay? My solution was that fits everybody. It's not male, it's not female, it's not they, them, any of that stuff that you want to have. And everybody can use it. I think in the handhold here, yeah, that pretty much is universal fit. So one size fits all. And so I ordered, I don't know, a couple hundred of them.
Okay. The Grove accessories for the Grove.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, if you want to do that, you can do that. Those are some LEDs I had laying around someplace. I can't even tell you where I was using them or what I was doing them for. In fact, I hadn't even plugged them in to see if they work.
You can come in, kind of. Yep.
And again, these are things I found sitting around for 5 or 6 years that I haven't touched, or if not longer than that. And so I figured I'd throw them in a bag.
Well,
But people are taking off of stuff because that's cool. I mean, the protons, those things, even though you don't use it like it is, you got a display, you got a temperature, and you have an Arduino that you'll have to take ownership of that device because you have to get on the particle.io to, you can plug into it directly if you want to and do stuff. But if you want to take full advantage of what that can do, you'll need to get your particle.io account and connect that thing to it. And so you've already got that web.io stuff going.
Yep.
It's a pretty nice thing. I think they were the first one I was aware of that were doing that kind of already connected stuff. Because after I saw the particle people doing it, then I saw the Adafruit.io and a few other people doing that same, offering that same service.
Yeah. I think that was my second board. I got an Arduino was my first one, and then I think I went to a particle after that.
Because at the time, if somebody asked me, you know, how do I get started with the Arduino thing? I'd point them at the particle stuff because it's got a whole cloud thing. It's got stuff great.
Super user friendly.
Now today, if somebody wants to say, "Hey, what do you get started with?" I'll point them to this as
Adafruit stuff.
the Adafruit circuit, circuit playground Express, not the dev, but the Express version, because the newest ones of those have Bluetooth on them. So you can connect it up to your phone, you can do all this stuff, and it's wearable. So if you wanted to make your clothes blink, you can do all that stuff. And you got lights and sound and IMU, all that stuff's built in. You don't have to sort it up and mess something up.
Yeah, let's take this up here a second. I gotta go. I'm gonna go check on.
I don't know why, because I don't have a Mac, but I still don't let that mean.
I don't know if I read it right. I don't know if it's 5 or 3.3, but I think it was 3.4. I might be wrong.
Yeah, those are not very juicy. Those are okay, but those boards, lots of screws, the temperature thing. I don't know if I can the buttons. You're seeing the last vestige of Tanner's showing up here.
Yeah, I have a couple of Tanner motors.
And it's just, I was thinking about that the other day as well, man. I don't know about when I'm working on projects and doing stuff, I'm like, I understand. That usually comes up at some point because it's like, I need one of these things. I don't need 27, and I don't need to pay $50 to get this one thing that I need.
Yeah, Tanner's was the cool thing about Tanner's is sometimes, not always, but sometimes I get a motor that was probably $150, $12.95.
Yeah. I've got some AC adapters. They're great. 4 amps, regulated the whole stuff. And it was like,
So what is it about? Is it a robot that walks or what? Rolls.
Get that controller up and running.
Good use for an old phone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the power-based. And I think if I had something to do with that,
Yeah.
Waiting for it to boot up.
They're not quick, not the old ones. Well, the new ones aren't so fast either. There we go.
Well, I'm thinking
Oh, yeah. It's open when it should be and not when it should be.
this would be fine for my old 5.3.
Oh, certainly.
That's pretty fast.
Oh, membership? Membership is $40 per year.
Leave my water out on.
So what do you want to do? Okay, well, I don't have any pen or pencil or anything to write this stuff down, so.
And then,
Anybody got a pen or pencil?
Yep. All right.
Mike works at- he works at- So he's putting this little ball inside the big ball. Okay, a pen, now a piece of paper.
Oh, I think I got paper too.
Is that a piece of paper?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yes.
Come over here and look at this and see if there's somebody.
Take one of the paper. Yeah.
Does this look important?
Yeah, I got you.
Can I pull a piece?
Yeah, yeah. Pull them as you want.
Okay, Mike. Here you go.
Got it. Mm.
Help me, because I'm a bad speller.
Oh, wow. Right. Yeah. That does work pretty dang good. Yeah.
Pretty good. So bring it over here. I'm curious how high you can go.
you can't go with a big ball, it can't do anything.
Well, I know, so I know it's small. I'm curious. Yeah, how much of a,
Depends on the momentum.
well, that's
Right.
true, but I'm curious
On the end
on
of
that.
And let me re-aim it.
Okay, I'm sorry. And, I can't hear anymore, and I never could spell. Yeah, that'd be better.
Now, the yard is about like this level of tilt. Okay.
Was it just spinning because of friction or?
No, it hit the edge.
Oh, it just ran out of juice.
Right. It hit the edge.
So let me go a little, get some momentum here.
Right.
You gotta run up.
Okay, let me make sure I got this on.
Ooh.
Okay. It wasn't very out in the yard, but it comes close.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't
the
know.
yard is about that tilt.
Any of those Texas cracks in the soil, that thing will disappear
Yeah.
forever.
Oh, it'd be gone.
Yeah.
I know, that's true too. But yeah, that yard has about that type of tilt, so if you can't go over that angle,
Yep.
that one barely can.
Yeah.
This probably definitely could.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it can go up like that.
Yeah, that has
45
torque,
degrees.
right, that's why I said that has torque, so I can see that vehicle will go up a hill.
All right.
But yeah, but that one, yeah, can. So that's why I said that was last year's one, that
Didn't work, or
because of the tilt.
Because of the
That's
tilt.
why I said tilt wise.
just need more power, right? More power.
You know what
It's just a
your
matter of
batteries are
getting
on
it
that?
out, plugging, changing out the parts.
Hey, Mark,
Yes, sir.
it turned on and started flashing. I don't
Uh-oh.
know how to turn it off.
That's all right. That's means it'll explode.
Uh-oh.
I'm kidding. Yeah, there's two. So that one's like the switch for turning on and off, and then this little one at the front is the actual pen.
Okay.
It's a little awkward, but
What's
Yeah.
the
Kinda
pen?
cute
This
little
is like
lighthouse.
Oh, yeah, it's cool.
Disappearing
Where'd you
ink
get,
or
is it a souvenir?
no, that's one I turned. I got the kit from. This one I turned. I got the
Oh,
kit
hey.
from Penn
Yeah.
State, and then yeah,
So
what, like an
supposed to be
ocean kind of
like,
color.
Mhm, mhm.
it's supposed to be a lighthouse or something?
Lighthouse image there. You got little boats
Okay,
and stuff on the bottom here.
down there.
Okay.
I don't like the colors. I wish it would just like glow like
Yeah.
one color.
Right. Or else,
Well,
Go
I did
around.
something. Did you notice this? You can do something with
No,
this.
that's yeah.
Hmm.
No, it's on
Oh,
a
cycle.
sequence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But it
Just
is
so
it's
happens.
fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty kid.
So,
Yeah, the getting it on and off that'd be really not quite normal.
All right. Bye-bye.
Which one do you try to?
What?
We'd have to wait for let's see if the tour guides are back, yeah.
I think Chuck and
okay. Well, hey, Mike.
So I put inside that white ball there.
So that was the problem.
Well, yeah, I'll put this inside there. And put soccer ball, and then artistic and kinks.
What did they so?
Yeah, you lost something.
That was, that's me.
I follow you.
Real soft.
So and robot person.
So
Is the software already on there?
interact. And so I just.
Which one?
The ball, the right.
You can make something.
Hey,
Probably, you'll have to look up that.
right.
They control
I've seen plans before, I've been tempted to build one, but I never do.
Yeah,
That,
so that's why I was getting
okay.
I probably, and then you write that, we're gonna write Green Day.
One thing we need to update that too. Do we know if we're going to do Zoom Day this year or have they said from last year, right? Since beginning.
You can make anything out of 3D printer.
Don't get that feedback from the Zoom Day people.
Where would we get that from?
You know, they, one year they actually said no afterwards, said, thank you for showing up, blah, blah, blah.
What do you think about that?
We'll do that.
You can kick that.
You know, might tell us. I don't know, I don't think.
I just never speak.
Oh, they did.
We got kind of busy there for like 27 seconds. And, we got kind of busy there for about 27 seconds.
But I mean, I've seen it where we could just get it. Take one.
But they didn't advertise it like they used to. Yeah, I felt there was less people there than usual. So, yeah. So to me, yeah, now we're
So I had
still
this
back
ball.
up.
You know, if you get it this way.
But like I said, you know, they come there,
And I found
they
out
broke
that
all the records. They would send out.
They're not the, you know.
It's kind of hard. They might have.
And then
But the way to send that, you know,
I'm
we got very successful.
I can throw a ball right now. It's about. It's all different.
I thought that. The displays, you know, people.
The people that
Yeah,
did
you're
show
right.
up,
I thought I was gonna have a time to go see some of the towers and stuff, but I'm busy doing other things. I just did.
No, I walked. I'm glad I did.
Did you get it up there?
And it's.
Unfortunately, I asked
I've seen videos.
I asked the guy, was a professor in Maine, not him, so he couldn't tell me anything about it on the inside, but you know, I see articles on how the bill was, so I had a pretty good idea. of what to say. It was like this small, yeah, it's like this viral. Right. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, my understanding is there's actually two robots in one. You got the one thing that's balancing on top of the ball, so it's sitting in whatever the ball was.
Yeah, because there's that space using like this ball that has that mechanism. And then on top that, yeah, and they can use magnets or something to,
This is
you know, get location of that kind of one
Yeah.
design.
So it can
And where basically.
switch over to computer control.
So the thing at the top was a little like magnet that would, yeah, that is onto the head. That, you know, when you get this spot.
Yeah, it was amazing. It's the thing on top.
We'll have a, camera.
Right.
And, you know, and yet we put it back on.
Kind of flight sensors.
It's like a spear also, instead of having two wheels on the
Maybe a
side.
LiDAR.
it's two wheels.
Yeah.
Like
Like a nicer
Right.
If you figure out where the hell it is.
So, yeah.
It's cool.
I'm saying
Competition,
competition.
you can get to it, touch it, but not.
Version of that. I remember, that's
And
exactly.
it's like in an acre area, there's like three.
It's just, there's a ball,
So you gotta drive
you don't want to balance on the wall, and you stuck that thing and stuck it on top of it, I think the ball that goes in there. When I say just,
There's no.
I'm not necessarily calm of him, because he does a lot of, because he does a lot of these stuff, I'm not saying he's not, but that was my job to do that. And over the years, if you look and see what he does, he's like, oh, I need a control for this. Let me get this control I built 10 years ago that I've been using on every project since. And I've got 27 things, 27 versions of that, that I've just slapped it on there, and that's what he does. So he's built up his repertoire.
It's toolbox.
He's built up his repertoire, so that things look like they go together real fast, but you and I don't have that. I have a toolbox. My toolbox is serving out all the fun stuff he's got.
I mean, I have time to fight.
Do you have a toolbox? John, you have a toolbox? Everybody has a toolbox.
Yeah, I have, but the key, you're right, it's not,
But it's not.
it's not as refined, so the things already built, but I will use it to power things. Tends to be off to the side, yeah, instead of a nice straight line, it's more of a, yeah, redesign. I mean, you're right, though, some of the stuff over, yeah, that's why. But you're right, it's going to go on to the next outdoor robots.
Yes.
Hey, Mark, why don't we get Mike to give us a tour of his robot that he's
An
building?
official tour.
Yeah.
I gave him a little run through on his. Oh,
Did he already do it for you?
he did. He did a little one, yeah.
Beyond.
Yep.
Those are two robots. These came out of South Africa.
Hello.
They were for school.
Okay.
And,
We're having a very informal meeting today. Swap meet and a show and tell.
anyway,
I'm assuming you can use that as much as you can use it.
I forgot my.
If y'all got any questions, feel free to type them out or speak up. I think I got the speaker up, so I should be able to hear you if you speak. Got some parts over here.
I've been days since even if I didn't hook up. it's just-
Light, it's reversed. Light to frequency converters, which I'm very curious about. A whole bunch of
But I wouldn't.
sensors.
I'd use a controller, maybe a game controller.
Of course, pew pew.
they hit the tower.
The RC controller ones.
So you can see
Look
it.
funny. Looks like
Yeah. So it fires.
I was gonna use it for the fail-safe switch.
But now.
So while it's running unabated, you've got to hold the switch. And then if you see something bad happening, you can release the switch and it'll stop.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a fail-safe.
Can't move my hand backwards.
But I got all that stuff working here because it's
Do-do.
monitoring the signals. It'll just.
Yeah.
Fail-safe mode and stuff.
This is all you got.
That's all I've added to the engine. Everything else is inside of there.
I got you.
So LiDAR.
It does.
The controls for the computer and the electronic.
Mhm.
This is the power to
It ends
power
up,
everything.
it ends up, you know, in blue light.
It's the signal from here. and
Yeah.
It's just serial.
What about this one?
Go
Yeah,
outside. Kills.
Yeah, but now it's plugged into a computer and a Raspberry Pi.
Well, the one thing
You have it all working.
Excuse me.
These are.
Okay.
So they have a game where you have to give, you know, one, you have to go to 1, 2, and 3 or whatever.
You can't do it.
Anyway, it's pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But the code in the Raspberry Pi is
Python. I like to run Python, but we have to form them. I have a book about it. But we like form.
We have a couple of remote attendees now.
Yeah.
It's nice.
We picked up 2 new members.
Nice.
Yeah, we
Very
picked
cool.
up, well, one member is an old member, Mike.
Yeah.
Arinda.
Do we know?
Arinda.
Oh,
He's been with
okay.
us for years and years and years.
Mhm.
And he rejoined.
Nice.
And his I think his nephew, Jason
Okay.
Bakalu, is also joined. So
Cool.
cool.
Yeah.
2 new members.
2 new members. Awesome. Mhm. Yeah. That's a little computer.
Yeah.
Intel Core M3. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It does get a little warm, but it does what it's supposed to do.
I know it's supposed to.
Yep.
Be more.
That is interesting too, but yeah, it's finding the time to play with it.
Unsigned, voided pointers.
What's this?
Probably
It's
all.
Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Yeah, a Bluetooth.
I
I can't tell you how long ago I got
Stick
it,
it
so
back
I
up
don't
here
know
real
whether it's
quick.
gonna fit or whatever, and it's sitting in my box forever, and I'm like, somebody who may want to use it.
Sorry for all the shaky cam. Just trying to put this a little more stable up here.
Yeah. This is,
Like I say, if you all have any questions, feel free to holler.
And I won't say one of my PCs or anything I'm connected to these days got a Bluetooth connection to it.
You don't have.
Well, I do have some, but they're stored in a rack over there. I've got to go through those at some point and figure out what I want to keep.
My computer I'm using is, I think, 2007.
Go.
Yeah, what I've done is, I went, put in SSDs,
It's supposed to be good for.
put in a good graphics card, one of the 46.
Yeah.
Looks great,
Yep.
but it doesn't have Bluetooth.
Yeah, it does have Bluetooth. And they get, and the thing is,
because
I know it's just on the back, so I'm gonna read it, and I'm just gonna mess with it.
libraries.
When I got that, there was no Bluetooth,
It sounds like.
low energy, Bluetooth 5, any of that stuff. This is like old school.
This one? No, not this one.
Not that one?
No, but it's a number, if this is the right one. it's
Raspberry
four.
Pi.
It might be full.
Yeah, so
It's
we're
gonna be-
at 5:30 now. but
Yeah.
Four was, if you have 4 or more, you're okay.
Mhm.
It only knows that.
Just putting stuff on.
Oh, it's library.
That,
You could probably make.
was that LiDAR thing that you showed at the Amazon.
But then there's Arduino.
Yeah, that's kind of nice, man.
He knows about.
Now, You might want to look back. And,
Python.
I mean, I'm saying I
I
like,
think in visual code.
there are competitors.
It can probably.
I mean, it's nice and small. The mounting point on the thing.
It's surprising how
These
much.
guys have been in business for 15 years.
I do.
Yeah,
I like-
that was the other one that,
In the Raspberry Pi,
that I was using.
the robot
That was
operating
one of their
system.
first launches.
I'm not sure how I want to use it, but
Yeah, that's kind of what I was like.
This seems to be the sensor of the,
Libraries.
everybody kind of like.
Just because they are.
Right, drivers and things.
Well, no, you're sitting there saying.
Oh, wow.
Because-
Usually it's like question mark, don't know, but this case, we
Going fast.
that's why, I totally ignore it because that's why it's the first time they take the call.
Yeah, if you use
That's
it
why I
on-
looked, thought, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it goes both, right?
Yeah, I was right.
so
Right.
I just got to get a new name. Cause I was building.
So the body of the power.
I want to learn how to The one do I'm
Especially
back at.
like the robot operating
And
system,
so I
all the guts.
saw this thing.
all
Because-
the libraries.
So I saw this thing, and
The user code is.
and I'm like,
Python.
that's a simple enough
Can you keep an eye on
project.
the front door?
Yep, I got you. But some of the.
That's a
newer
simple enough project.
features they have.
Why don't we do this? And I kind of want
And
one
then someone that's a
anyway.
Python wrapper around.
And so I can spend the $40 and get a tachometer that's
Python.
maybe decent enough, maybe not, whatever, right?
It is sometimes.
Or I've got,
Yeah.
I had to go get it. I think I got all these parts. I went out there and last one I worked because I'm
Keep it with the house.
Huh?
that I got all the parts on. I'm rebuilding one and figured this one out. And then I make me a PCB with the KiCad and I put 3D code, 3D. They work. And I'm like, so we all learned something on the thing. Instead of just, I could just spend $40, but I really want to learn KiCad. I want to have a.
Would you like, well, that's something we need to discuss. Why don't we sit down and have a little discussion?
Okay.
Because Paul's coming in a quandary,
This
like,
module here is just.
how do I handle, you got someone to have a swap.
Didn't bring my tools. Yeah, I got you.
This is the included.
It's not everything else. I don't think and I'm going to agree with you. It's more like a yes and sort of thing. Because having ran a lot of these monthly meetups for a while.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with swap
So you can see all the.
However,
the mechanics.
that's equivalent to what I
So they
call
got
pulling it in when they come to provide a shot. For the, and again, nothing wrong with it. Not sliding it in the least, because I've done this plenty. So, there's lots of fun and stuff. But if there's something more we can do or something different we can do,
You design all this yourself.
do that. I mean, one reason I wanted to be here was one,
So you
gotta
just
give us some
off
crap
the
away.
shelf.
But two,
Yeah, all right, man.
actually see people in person.
I added this like.
And that's one of
This is the
the,
key.
in the
everything
software
watertight.
development range of these things, we've had these discussions a lot. And it's like,
This
this
goes
can
really
really make a compelling thing to get people to want to drive. How are you smart to drive?
So how much was
Become-
that? Because of like the card.
Not just jump on the Tuesday night. You know, give me more work if I come in here on the one day a month. Than you could otherwise. Right.
So
And I
inside
will
of here is
say,
the. What are the ESC, they call it ESC.
somebody doing a presentation on what Rogan did a couple months ago.
See
To
the.
me,
What's the?
I get a lot more out of that than somebody trying to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Like John.
So, yeah, some kind of-
Oh, there you go.
You know, I'm looking at it.
Trying to get-
I'm happy. Really.
I mean, we can run through this and do this again.
Whether it's,
Look at
yeah,
But
control.
the key is, yeah.
Yeah. I do appreciate John's
First person view. It's like-
Oh, there you go.
explanation of all the lines of code and all of that.
It'd be sort of a side.
And I just saying that, it seems like I may be writing script, and really
But
not.
if I could.
That's just me.
Look at.
After showing me it working.
Probably a bit of code.
I don't know about that.
Some
Some days,
of that stuff, I said, it's really, yeah.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment, but it depends on the area that you're in. Like last night, I did not understand the preload of a couple things for doing some interrupts that would probably explain why the tachometer thing wasn't working.
Like the objective.
So. Thank you. And the objective will be, I do appreciate him showing up. He's got a tremendous amount of knowledge.
So we have two concepts
After about.
One is the.
I don't know if we want to tell them or not.
I'm checking it out.
Mhm.
I don't know anybody who's awesome that on the fly if you're not already in the situation.
If he was doing that here.
Yeah, they'd be a different story. Agree. Think so? I think.
I kind of feel
And then you
that.
have the.
It turns into an impromptu workshop sort of thing.
Second.
That's good, Steele.
So those are all
Well,
like
good, because you gotta do it, you go back and watch it if you're really into
But
it.
it's not. And it's that.
But when you come here, I said we're gonna spend a couple hours talking about this one topic. That's a workshop.
The land,
And I can read up some stuff on this. I can look at some stuff.
So I get more out of it when I spend my time. You'll find it. We can make a gas. But it's not as simple as one day where we've got, you know, you do all that, the most when we talked about bits every Tuesday night. It's not quite that straightforward. Yes.
Oh, here's one. That's a good question. So we're trying to figure out.
Scorekeeper.
Looking at the pizza. Hey, Mark? Is the pizza guy coming?
So.
Pizza, yeah. About half hour.
Okay, why don't you, let's all sit around. I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I wanna discuss this subject that Harold and I are discussing.
Okay.
I'd like to get input from other people.
Yep.
Well, there's your in.
But I agree.
Speak up if you can hear us. The camera needs to be a lot wider on this thing. Since it was-
Green, David, we're gonna be talking about something here that if you could join us, it'd be useful. We're gonna talk about future presentations and get some a little closer feel for what people want. Paul has suggested a PID presentation, so that's one. And I guess the question I have for other people is, what do they want to hear about? Can't hear them.
They're muted. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. They might not really be there. They might be just kind of boring. Can you ping them?
Yeah, I don't think you can, unmute.
No.
That would be some bad mojo if you could.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna let me.
Mark, can I borrow your pencil? Your
Of course.
pen and piece of paper.
Oh, my word.
Hey, Doug,
Yes.
can you explain how to join the group?
Yeah, sure.
Is it?
One, you can pay the announcements. I've already been doing that for other people. Or you can, go to the DPRG.org website and go to, I think it's membership, maybe. Let me see your phone.
You can pull up on
Now, have you been a member? It's not. Okay. All right, so if you're.
Oh, it had that home. Doggy.
Don't tell my wife. Because she thinks I already got enough junk. I'm gonna pass this one off as I need to repair it.
And it barks. It's
Yeah,
Q-tip, right? 'Cause it's 10.
I'm repairing it for somebody else. Yeah. Like Mike broke its neck and I've got to fix it. That's my excuse. I'm gonna stick to it. I mean, it's not a lie, right?
Last time I tried to repair this servo, I ripped the flex cable, that I replaced it. You have to wires. And it's gonna be over there.
Okay.
So if you take it apart, you're gonna see wires up here.
Okay.
It's a little tighter fit, because the wires are tiny bit bigger.
I think.
Okay.
I use 30 gauge wire.
I remember.
Okay. I'll check it out.
So. is at this point.
You know, I really don't care.
What did
This
you
is
do?
the Olympics.
Okay, you're a member for a year.
I love the Olympics. But like I heard radio saying, here's your daily schedule.
Hmm.
I want to see the Olympics. I don't want to listen to
Two competitions.
Yeah.
this isn't like it's not
No. It's a spectacle. It's not a listening. Yeah.
You're basically supporting the goal.
Yeah, he was interested
Man,
be a robot.
And pew pew.
And I said, this is for club members.
Yeah.
So he's trying to turn something.
I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, it's club robot. So I mean, I held on to it until Moon Day because that was my goal, was to show it off at Moon Day, which we did.
Right.
After that, that went out.
But it said,
That one in.
but the thing is supposed to say with the DPRG.
Yeah.
there
You
are.
can't just give it to someone and they
we try to
play with
make
it and break it.
Ideally not. I mean, I expect
It's not a party toy.
some of the members to like maybe dig into it, not
Yeah.
fully take it apart, but you know, like it's got like servo plugs at the back, some PWM that you can mess with and add to, and maybe take off the gun and put something else on. Or
Code.
yeah,
Make it-
lots of coding. Yeah, Python. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So there's a lot of things we can do with it.
Yeah.
But yep, you just pass it around every week, or every month, or every year, whatever. So
Okay,
you can hang on to it for now if you need more. You might need it again, I'm sure.
okay. Oh, Kyle, you have these wonderful things.
What's the light on your pen? Like, does it do anything?
Oh, that's mine. Yeah, no, it's just a pen kit. It's actually a lighthouse kit. So it has like scenes of boats, and then the clip itself is a lighthouse. And the light, I wasn't expecting it to do that, but it's preset, like just it goes through that same pattern of colors. And I'm like, I kind of wish it was just like white, just like on, off, like a lighthouse. But it's okay. It's colorful.
It's so a pin kit, he turned this on a lathe.
Yeah.
He bought this blank, this blue and white blank,
Mm-hmm.
and then turned it on to fit the kit and drilled it, I guess, and all
Yep.
the other things you gotta do.
Yeah,
Made-
it's
made
a fun
made-
process.
Made a pin, so he made this pin. You can't
Yeah.
buy it. per
No,
se.
well, no. You could buy the kit and make one yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've made a couple dozen pens now, and they're fun to make.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I went through the pin making class.
Yeah.
I made a pin for that, but mine was not as slick as this. It was a basic check.
Yeah.
So the Rockler up in Richmond.
Yeah.
Rockler store, they've got went by there the other day, and they got classes, and one of them happens to be pen making.
Yep.
One of them, another one that I want to go, I probably will do, even though I think it's a little bit pricey. And both in time and money, it's almost, it's like $170 or something, and 2 Saturdays. Back to back, is dealing with resin. So you make a bunch of resin coasters, you know, and that's, it's much fun as that is. I've got to prep, and I want to go do that because I think that little resin thing flowing in the middle of tables and the river tables and stuff are just so cool.
Mhm.
I just know it takes a bunch of stuff before you can even do some of that. And if somebody's made these plans,
Aren't you a member?
no, I'm not a member.
And I want to say DMS has.
Yeah, we have a lot of resin stuff.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
Every.
Not quite table size, but definitely coaster size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have pin turning class.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I went through it. And,
Yeah, there's
yeah,
plenty of people that.
anything like
Something
that,
scary is much.
anything maker skill that you want, it's a problem.
Yeah. Like
There's a couple of problems with being a member of DMS. And probably the most notable one is I don't spend enough time at home anyway.
mm-hmm.
And the second problem is, you know, it's a 45-minute trip usually to get
Oh,
here,
That's
yeah.
my biggest
you know.
Distance, yeah.
Yeah, I live over in Richardson,
Oh wow.
and I live over on the east side of Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
This is like, this here, so, thank God I'm not driving a Jeep anymore, but So it used to cost me almost, you know, if I came once a week, it would have cost me double my membership. Because I ended up having to pay gasoline and tolls. Now, you could argue, well, you could go the long way.
Right. I would say I go the long way. I do intend to, when I go to Richardson or wherever, like yesterday I was over right Rock. I take the whole day and I pick, you know, things along the way. So I do multiple things on the day instead of just one spot. So yeah, I would say.
All right,
Yeah,
so,
I'd be here. I was spending the whole day. Of course, in my case, I only live 100 miles away, so to me, it's almost like a hot minute skip.
okay, one of the things that Paul
Mhm.
suggested, so this is just a suggestion, was a workshop on PID tuning.
Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
be a good one that people would love.
Sure.
Because I'm still struggling on my PRD, so yeah, that'd be nice.
Every time I've tried it, I screwed it up, so.
Just one of those like
That's what Paul suggested.
it's one of those little black magic things. Which
In fact, the only time I've had PID actually work well is when like this last night, or Thursday, I fired up the Robocall so I could have me some wheels that turn and had the Robocall, click the auto tune button, okay, you know, that worked.
So I guess another question would be, what would be other topics?
Well, like for example, in his case, you know, you line up people and have basically three levels. You have your beginners who have no clue whatsoever, the intermediate, they have a rough idea where they're going, and the experts, okay, sort of know. So the key I would say is you want to sort of try for the middle. Don't get it so overly high level that it, you know, people get shut down, especially they don't tune in.
the eyes glaze over and
Right,
they're
the
just
eyes
like,
glaze over problem.
So are we still talking about PID tuning?
Yeah, well, that too, but yeah.
there's a few
what I'm
subjects
saying
out there,
is
yeah.
So basically you want to practical. I think that,
practical, right.
Practical's
That's the
always
key.
good.
Where I get, you know,
Now-
like
now
that
that-
works.
Now
That's
that I
a
have
good aim.
this, like practical functions, practical like applications for this, like, you know, wiring it up in software and stuff.
In other words, you don't want
I don't know
to take the magic
But
out of the
that's-
box. You
yeah.
want to make it so that it's down to earth, understandable, I
But-
guess.
So this is very specific, like not many people have LiDAR, like not everyone has LiDAR, so it's gonna be very limited. I don't know.
It's spread, but it's not as much. That's why I agree with the tip.
well,
Pig
I'm
would
not
be
sure I
wrong.
know anybody who could really do it justice.
Hmm.
Otherwise, we got people who have used it and they can tell you probably how to get the data into your computer and what to do.
Yeah.
And they might be able to tell you some of the pitfalls
One
that
of
it
the
ranges
things
to.
that, with LiDAR, one of the things a lot of people do is slam.
Mhm.
And that is not, that's not a simple topic. That's, but you don't have to use LiDAR for SLAM. You can use it for object detection.
Mhm.
And you can use it for a couple other things that aren't as advanced, but very useful. And the thing about these things like this C1, you know, they got pretty good. I want to say that one, what is that? Do you remember the spec on the distance? I want to say.
Like 12 meters,
Yeah.
like the minimum is like
It's
6 for like
12
black
meters, what I read the
objects.
other day.
12 is like white objects.
Yeah, so you figure realistically, you know, it's probably around 10,
Mhm.
you know.
8 to 10, yeah.
Except you run it up against the black target, which all of a sudden it drops down, but you know, for general use, probably 10. And-
30 feet, man, that's pretty
I
good.
say it's everything in this room.
Is that a radius or a diameter?
Huh?
That's a radius too, isn't it, not a diameter?
So.
Yeah, radius.
It's a radius.
So that's
From
60
point
feet,
to
that's
out.
60 feet of goodness.
It's true.
Historical format, see that.
Yeah, that's why it's so cool for SLAM.
Yeah.
You come into a room and
So-
it knows where everything is.
What's the high level of SLAM? What is SLAM?
SLAM is simultaneous location and mapping.
Okay.
So this location where you are,
Mhm.
and mapping, and then you can, what the environment you're in.
So it's opposite of object detection, where it's on the go, like mapping. It's obviously needs memory and knowledge to know where everything is.
If you think of the lidar response in this room,
Mhm.
it would tell you where all these walls and where Harold is and everything else is. All right.
Right.
But it doesn't have any context.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So if knowing where you are is there, first knowing that the walls are walls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not horribly hard to do. It sounds hard, but it really is. But what you do is you sample a few spots and you calculate the X and the Y, and if the X stays the same.
It's the
or the Y
stationary
stays
objects.
the
Yeah.
same, then you know you got a wall.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, in a room like this, where we got all these chairs and everything, you know, there'd be all these little loopy things that you.
Yeah, how can you make context out of that, right? You just see a bunch of, you just see a bunch of.
I guess there'll just be static objects or moving objects.
Yeah, and the other thing that the problem is, think of it if you had your hands like this,
Mhm.
and you came down, and then you came up, and you came down, and you came up. But what, okay, that's no problem here,
Mhm.
but what if I'm running around the room?
Yeah.
So, you know, like, I look at this, and all of a sudden I see this. you
Whole
know,
new view.
What the hell, you know?
Yeah.
So there are some real things.
Some interesting challenges.
But, you know, with something like, is there something in front of me? Like, you know, here's Harold.
Mhm.
So that's pretty easy to detect. If you know your direction, you're moving and whatnot. Because when you're turning, everything gets smeared.
Right. That makes sense.
Okay. So I'm not, there's more to it. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
saying, but I can put down here a lidar. We'll look at, who knows?
LiDAR, or even SLAM in particular, maybe.
Well, you could do radar,
LiDAR, SLAM.
the radar base, and then go from there into the slam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I meant by, have a series in
Yeah.
a way that you ramp up versus.
You don't jump right in the deep end, John?
Right, don't jump in the deep end, because that's part of the problem is like for example, is what is it? I knew what it was because being exposed to it over the years.
Yeah.
But the catch is, you want to tailor it in a way that, we don't get the eyes closing over the head going, type of response.
What I'm saying is that,
Because we have a tendency to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
okay, so what else would be cool?
Basic, well, I would say for his case, ask him, what are your application you're using? What your goal is out of it. So the key is, being able to plot that is important. So even though, it's a basic question, so.
Well,
ties
okay,
that
one of the
back
things
out.
that we.
So that's why I'm
we talked
saying that.
about, and I don't know if it would be useful, because I'm beginning to see, it seems like the base level of knowledge in our group is higher than some I've seen in the past, okay?
Yeah.
So, you know.
We have some really good brains in this group, yeah.
There was the thought of a beginner's plan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it beginner robot building.
Right.
That's where I'm at. I could probably teach that one.
All right, so
Don't put my name up.
this would be,
So
it would be,
I would call it a beginner choices selection process. For lack of a terminology, I'm getting old fancy with the term, but,
I would say you build a robot.
the concepts
Yeah.
of what you need to build a robot. Okay, well, concepts of what you need to build a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, Mark, would that be of any use, say you, if you already know how to do some programming?
I know the basics. Yeah. Yeah. I know programming to a point. Like like job wise, I'm a web developer, like backend developer.
Yeah.
But doing something like PID is like above where I'm at because it's like a whole new different mindset. But it's not super hard. The coding's easy. It's just knowing the concepts.
Well, the interface and the keywords to use to get your
Yeah.
radar, for
Well, I mean,
example.
But
if we had a class where you built a robot in the class,
Hmm.
would that be of any value?
probably.
Or what parts of it?
I mean, I can build well, I'll say about that.
Okay,
Yeah, it probably would be. Yeah. Yeah.
so how about we want to pick your brain?
Yeah.
He's a good
Come on,
sample.
come on over.
We're going to use it as a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
maybe
we're
I can answer
discussing some lectures, class, whatever you want to call it, information people would like to know type thing. So what type of things like radar? Do you know what it is? Do you want to know what it is? Type thing.
So I started
Here's the
with
question is,
custom marker. He said,
would you be interested in a beginner's class that builds a robot in class?
Maybe.
Or is that something that doesn't?
I think because of course it's a class, but like, I think it would be something kind of cool that like, something that's like a little more advanced that touches more like to cross.
So it sounds to me like a Ross class.
That would be good too. I would mind that.
So that sounds better. So not too much interest in the beginning robot
Yeah,
class.
more like the basics of Ross.
Yeah.
And
But the key is, would you like a series of classes, or will you want certain topics, or will you want to pick sort of a main? In other words, because part of the problem I see is, as I was telling them, is the Ross I type. And when you get into radar, for example, you can get into SLAM, and some people don't know what SLAM is and that. So if that's it, you go on sort of like type thing. So, well, I was asking you sort of kind of, okay, why it should go, what, and work in what parts you need for it. So I would call it more of not building a robot from scratch, but more than what parts are out there to interface type things and a series on that. Would that be useful?
I think so.
Okay, that's why I was saying not exactly start from the very basic robot building, but more along the lines of here's what we have available, and then once we figure out what people mostly want out of the basket, then have a more detail of that item in the basket. An overview, in other words, this is why I'm saying effectively. I would start with an overview and then drill down to the finer classes. Make sense?
I was recommending that, like a beginner would go online for tutorials and bring up, understand robot, gazebo, and simulation, and just understand the core of it. And then we can have a class that, okay, this is how to hook up a really simple robot like what I had last year for Ross.
All right.
I didn't use a lot of the Ross stuff. I just used the infrastructure like the message passing and stuff, and not the complex libraries. So yeah.
But well, as far as Ross goes, unless you're having to build something custom,
All right.
they're pretty straightforward in a lot of ways. Where the problem comes with Ross is it's just the standard build system, right? Because you just not only do you get an image that you're, whether it's Ross 1 or Ross 2 or whatever that is, and you have a whole infrastructure system to do that. If you're going to make your own robot or do your own thing to tell your robot to do a certain thing with your own launch files and stuff and all those kind of things you got going on. There's a whole setup that gets you. They got the concept of an overlay where you have the base here that you overlay, which is this stuff rides on top of all the stuff underneath. And where do you change it? And there's things going on there. I suppose you could change your stuff right together on there, but that seems not the Ross way to do it, because now anyway, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm dragging us off in the weeds.
Talking about doctors.
No, I'm talking about Ross. There's an overlay idea to it, where you have your base level of stuff, then you set up a workspace. When you set up that workspace, it overlay, what happens is everything that you do here, it does this first. This last in wins. It does this bit first when you're compiling and doing stuff. Then it compiles this extra stuff and jumps on top of it. And so depending on how level of things you want to do, I found that to be very complicated when I first started, even though I understand that's how it needs to work, right? Maybe that's keeps you from doing stuff.
I think what I would like to see for us is somebody take a very simple robot. Even if let's take the simplest, an Arduino robot with an ultrasonic sensor. Very simple. And then make it a robot.
Right. Separate through,
Like
in
that?
other words, the interface on it.
Well, this is kind of the, I don't know what other sensors. I see a lot of things here.
I think that's probably a standard thing on it. I just read it real fast. What's dropped on top of that is an ESP32.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they're running micro ROS on that, making that a node.
Yeah.
And you're having your computer do all the smart stuff.
There might be, that might be a good example. What I'm trying to say is, for somebody who made an actual ROS robot, a ROS
I
robot,
just was doing some looking up and seeing.
like the problem with what Paul did was Paul, first of all, fighting all of that doctor shit through.
Yeah, us in the virtual nature of things and that kind of stuff.
Just you getting it on the Pi and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah.
We spent so much time learning how to do that,
Problems you gotta solve, not problems you want to solve.
Taking a pie and putting Ubuntu on it. And then
The
putting
steps,
and then
right,
solving
like
problems.
steps.
And then everything works. You don't have to work so hard.
Yeah.
But the key is
That might be a
the
good
setting up of,
approach, Mike, and I think that,
That's what I did.
yeah, and I think that might be, but could you, Mike, I'm trying to get you to say yes here.
if you can reproduce it, is the
Could
key.
you simplify
Yeah.
the process so that essentially you said, okay, here you are, this is a pie. Okay, you're gonna put this package on it and this package on it. Here's your robot. I'm saying, I'm trying to accomplish what you did, but something very, very simple. Just like I said, just the
One
distance
sensor.
sensor, and that's it. Could you then hook that?
Well, that's what I did for Moon Day. Yeah.
Okay, and then make that a,
That was.
okay, and make that a ROS robot. Otherwise, it would have its back, its sensor would be sending the data, and its controller would be sending motor information, different, information.
Okay.
And you could do that?
I mean,
How long would it take?
Relatively simple. I can think of a relatively simple ROS demo or tutorial, whatever is to put like a distance sensor. So you have some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And then remote control it with a joystick.
And teleop on the thing.
Put teleop on it, which is part of the ROS package.
Yeah.
And you can control the robot, and then you can use the sensor to see stuff. That's a lot of shit has to work for that.
Right, and it is a basic ROS robot, right? I mean, that's
Yeah,
everything,
manual control, yeah.
but I'm saying everything you need
This is,
is there.
yeah, you start there, then you build on top of that. Yeah, stuff.
How long
That's how I started.
could you do that? Could you do a lecture on it?
Yeah.
Because one thing he brought up, which one of his goals was to build an arm, like a chess piece arm type thing. Do you connect that into ROS?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say that's what his interest is in, right? Yeah, but what I'm saying, this has to get there, and that's why I'm saying, you know, you have to sort of have a goal and then you work back from there. And then the question is, you know, the steps to get there and how complex are the steps. And several years ago, when I looked around, it seemed like it was so many steps and that wasn't well documented, the steps to get there. So that's why I said it's a lot override problem. You know, and you were even having some of that before noonday to get there.
So this is what it sounds like to me. I think we're getting into solutioning of things and that kind of stuff. What it sounds like to me is, and I'm sorry, I probably drug us there, is that we want to have some ongoing things so that we can have interesting stuff on a monthly basis, right?
Right.
But give people time to work on those things during a long. I love the Tuesday nights. I truly do.
Right, but you
But
have
from one
time
Tuesday to the
from-
next Tuesday, my ability to be able to affect any change for myself
Right,
is sometimes very limited.
right,
Like, I don't even get nothing to do. But over a course of a month, I can make sure I can prioritize some stuff so I
Right.
can make that happen.
and that's part of my problem because, yeah, with all my activities, the lack of time to concentrate is hard. So, yeah,
So what this is what I'm hearing is that whether it's Ross or some other thing, it doesn't really, it matters, but it doesn't, we don't have the thing is not necessarily, the content of the thing is not the thing, but the concept. So the concept being, we're going to build a thing like the pump robot that happened that, you know, whatever it is. Could be the mechanical arm here, right? Could be whatever that is, that, somebody needs to own that project. Okay, and whoever owns it needs to kind of lay out a process, a course. And whether we meet every month and do this one thing, or that we meet 1 month and we do this thing, and we've got several people that have these courses set up, you know, your basic robotics, right?
right,
You know, how, for lack of thinking, how do you do a range finder?
right.
You know,
That's what I
and
was
so-
saying.
And the other is, how do you make a motor? And does a motor, you know, stupid things like, the motor, I tell it to go 50%, it doesn't really go 50%, it does something else, because it's voltage controlled and things, and all that kind of
And
stuff,
that way
right?
you could get into
All those
loops
issues
and
that are going
stuff
on,
like that.
And so,
Yeah,
so we could probably get some kind of cadence going on where you introduce the concept, and then sometime later, you know, you can show it, and then maybe we have a month or two of something else, and then we come back to this, and the people that care about this one thing can continue to work on it and do whatever, which is where I'm looking at the Discord and boards stack. Not section it away, but have a section there where they can talk about this thing and do the thing like we're doing now with how sensors work and all the other kind of stuff. But in this case, this is for the raw solid project, you know? And I don't want to put a whole lot of ceremony around it, but I think if we don't do that, it's just gonna and no one owns it. It's just gonna go away. So somebody's gotta be interested in it. That person, I don't need to volunteer. That person, all that's required for that person to be an owner is have a interest and a want to.
and then
The how to and all the other stuff comes along with, we got lots of club members here to help. And if you go there, if you come to one of our Tuesday night things, you'll see everybody's got a way to help. Everybody has a thought. And I think that's fantastic. Right, and then, well, that's the opinion. I was gonna leave the opinion out of it for a minute, but they kind of come in there.
the key is you could put out that, hey, I have a problem with this, how do I
And-
resolve
but
it?
you're
type thing.
but the person
Oh,
that
yeah.
owns it, and then we can have, hey, let's all come together. Who is all building an arm? Because I'd like to build an arm. I think that'd be
Right.
cool,
Oh, I've
right?
been
Well,
tempted to
how do
build
I,
it.
which
haven't
kind of
done it.
arm do I build and do? And
Right.
there's a whole bunch of things to get even started. How big a servo do I need to do? Or do I need to use stepper motors? Or do I need to do all these kind of things? I mean, how do I even tell how big an arm I need? If I'm picking up a chess piece, not a big deal. But if I want to pick up a cup, like one of those cups over there, and have it full of liquid to move around, that's a different level of stuff, right? How do you even decide how to do that? That could even be the first meeting, how we even talk about that stuff, right? And worry
Go
about
over the pluses, minuses, fine tuning
yeah,
for, yeah.
and I think, but somebody's gonna have to own it to schedule out that course
to do it, and then remind us that we have this course again, because we will, I'm sorry, we got a lot of ADHD people in our club, man, and we like that, whatever the new shiny thing is. You know, I'm that way.
You mean like a Max, what was it?
Whatever.
The new shiny thing that
Yeah.
showed up Tuesday,
Yeah.
a Max cam.
Match game, yeah. We all like the new shiny stuff,
I wonder
right?
how many of those got bought that day.
Yeah, I
Uh,
figure a few, but
Yeah.
it just, whatever the concept is, somebody that is very interested in getting the thing done.
But what we could do is, you're right, have, now, if we're like, somebody's building an arm, they could discuss the pluses, minuses, and then get feedback if
And
they're
it
having
might
a
even-
hand up, why.
I'm
So
sorry, I
that's-
didn't mean to talk over you, John.
So that's where I think the build up is. That's why I was saying, you know, trying to get it so it's not crossover, but interesting enough for people to connect.
And it
I
might
agree
be a
with your
thing,
ideal.
it might even be a thing where we don't schedule a month all talking about arm. We have a
Right.
couple hours, like, okay, the arm people are gonna talk for 20, 30 minutes and go over stuff, and then the Ross people are gonna talk for 20, 30
Right.
minutes. And can they, at some point, can they combine the things? That could work too.
Right, because eventually, with a lot of things I do, I've noticed that the thing actually feeds into the other things. You're right about the feeding of the Ross into the arm that goes into the motors, separs. Yeah,
Some of the ideas, I like to think they're in a vacuum, but they're not, because I want to go fast. Right? And how do I go fast? Well, there's a bunch of ways to go fast, right?
so yeah,
And sometimes that going fast is knowing where you are, so you know how fast you're going.
yeah.
And all those sorts of things come into play.
And right now I see something, so I think.
Yeah, don't let it get
I think
cold.
we're about to be distracted here.
Yeah, yeah.
We're gonna
Lunch
be
break,
distracted
sorry.
For a little bit and then come back to it. Oh, wow. Because you need to demonstrate this.
Sure.
The
The demonstration is difficult.
Somebody ordered it. That's all right. I think we might have to make parts.
Yeah,
So you ordered good
I
pizza?
still got some tweaking to do.
Yeah,
on it,
Paul?
but
I ordered good pizza.
It uses ESP32 and got the software in there called.
Everything pizza and like meaty pizza and then someone like.
Everything in meat. And then of course I did a bunch of other things.
I like this.
For the special.
I guess I'm gonna have to go get a drink. It'll be nice.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of some stuff that I'd like
Sure.
to catch if we could. I'm gonna go get-
You have a key fob, right?
I got chicken.
Whatever you want.
We can do that.
Oh, I got plugged in, plug it in for this extension.
Yeah, I didn't want to,
There's a plug over there.
Yeah.
Slide.
All right. Sorry for the remote viewers. We're taking a little pizza lunch break. Oh,
Problem is.
There you just find PID and Ross Johnny's. Awesome.
The problem is people tend to, you know, here's a nice toy, but how to use this toy is the problem. That's why I said we don't want to cross over too high, but you need somewhere, yeah.
It's
Trying
actually
to
running.
do it all
on
at
going
once
live.
instead of,
But I got to say, about a dozen different presets. Those are just the whole day. Good. Yeah, it's really.
I'm gonna mute for a little bit so you don't have to listen to us munching food.
there was some talk about lidar, maybe
Mhm.
how to use it basic lidar applications such as obstacle avoidance, and then also then kind of like edging into SLAM. So the Ross one and the SLAM one would probably, so what you would expect is you would replace your distance sensor on your basic Ross example robot with a lidar, and then you would introduce that into the Ross topic, basics of Ross, get a SLAM, what do they call them? SLAM, what do they call it? And they talk back and forth. What do they call that on Ross when they talk back and forth? It's an event. Oh, there's topics. Yeah, topic. So you take your teleop robot that originally had say a ultrasonic on it. You replace the ultrasonic with a lidar, spinning lidar, and then you take your Ross training and up to the topic to SLAM and see how that would be. So that would be that would merge the Ross basic Ross into basic lidar. You follow? So those were a couple ideas that I thought had. I don't know if you guys got anything or any comments on that. We're watching the chat.
Yeah, I like the lidar idea. That would be up my alley. The Ross, maybe in a year.
Yeah, well, the idea there, David, would be we would start off with something really, really simple in Ross and get it to work.
Like in Ross, you can take the lidar and publish the information and then show it visually using Argus. And that's relatively simple. Yeah. It's a demo.
Yeah,
So, like,
it would, I'm saying is that it would be probably shorten the Ross journey. Getting the lidar to first work maybe with obstacle avoidance and wall identification would probably be the first step. So that you just get familiar with it, with what you get out of a lidar. Kind of interesting. So those are some ideas. So if there's enough interest, and we'll probably talk about this on Tuesday. If there's enough interest, then we can say who would be willing to champion the topic, and then, like I say, they could get together. People could get together separately and set up a goal and try to do it. And the intent would be that at the monthly meetings, so we're not talking about updating every Tuesday, we're talking about once a month. Because people said that the progress they tend to make week to week is kind of pitiful, but if you look at it from a month, they've actually done something. So the intent would be that you would, at the monthly meeting, you would actually update your project. So anyway, that was kind of an idea that we got over pizza, I think.
I really like that idea.
Huh?
I like the idea of having little group projects and little educational moment on specific topics like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I'm building stuff and doing things, I like this tachometer thing I'm doing. I'm like, well, how does that work? And what do I need to do to build a thing and kind of break it down into smaller tasks? Okay, let's figure out how this thing works.
David, did you hear Harold?
Yeah.
I heard half of it. It was breaking up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, like for instance, almost every project that I've ever done, I got the end goal in mind, which is create the Eiffel Tower. Right? But you don't create the Eiffel Tower by going in and creating the Eiffel Tower. You create it by ooh, how do foundations work? Well, what's a foundation? You know, that sort of stuff. You break it down to the smaller components that are, you know, I guess I should better say, how do you eat an elephant? You know, you only eat one bite, you eat it a little bit at a time. And okay, let's figure out how this works. Let's make sure it works and just go on to the next one. And figuring those things out. And I'm thinking with the, how you expressed with the project ideas and that kind of stuff, I think that's a grand idea.
Yeah, the thing is, we'll have to get people, one of the points that was brought up was that there has to be somebody who really wants to do it. And that person probably needs to be the leader, because he's got to be the one that makes the sentence that says, this thing does this.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Then at that point, people who are interested in saying, hey, I'd like to have one of those. For example, I'll give you an example that I would like to have. Mike has done a wonderful job with these TOF sensor arrays. And, you know, he's gone over them a couple of times, and, I kind of got the idea of how he did it, but it really would be nice to see, okay, well, here's the parts I bought, here's the STL file that I used, here's how I soldered them in, here's my repo of the software, it's basically got this structure, you know what I mean, so that it could be replicated. I guess, when you do the scientific paper, the intent is for the person to be able to replicate your experience and see if you got the same results.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be cool if we could kind of get that mentality, like how do I create something that will be, for lack of a purpose, something that other people could replicate and build off of.
Isn't this sort of what John is doing with his URC?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Isn't that what John is doing with his URC?
Yeah, that's very good. Good example.
What is URC?
Is a good example.
The URC is cool.
And I also think that I also say that like one that Mike's. I'm trying to catch up, guys. Okay, I guess the thing that I would like to see, you're right, John's URC is great, but I don't know other than by providing him encouragement that we actually helped him do it. That was one that he pretty much did himself.
He didn't need the help.
It'd be nice if we could broaden it out so that more people were involved.
Sorry, Kareem, was that?
I was just saying he didn't really need the help.
Yeah, he didn't really need the help. Yeah.
That's true. And that's, but I do think he appreciated that everybody was so supportive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Because sometimes you're out there in the wilderness, particularly if you're in Upper Canada or someplace, that you need a little encouragement here and there. So I hope he did it, because he did a great job.
He did. He's been very excited that so many of us have picked up on his code and also picked up, our own little controls.
Yeah, everybody's got a little
Everybody's got them now.
round display.
I mean, it's like $18, right? So it's like,
Yeah, I
how
know
can you
what
not?
mean. Yeah. So one thing I guess that just out of spite, I wanted to see. I think it was David, but it might be somebody else who was trying to encourage a square, a rectangular display. And he wasn't really into that too much. But anyway, that's a different thing. So, anyway, let's see, but those would be some good ideas. Has anybody else got any other examples or things that we might consider for emulation?
I would like to look at doing something for beginner roboticist.
Okay, we brought that idea up, David.
Mhm.
And a lot of people said, so
Well, I can understand that because
the question is,
current members,
Go ahead, Dave.
years from now, how many of us are going to still be around?
well, that's true.
You
Well,
know,
the question is can we make it interesting enough of a project that people who already would say that they're beyond the beginner and that they're now in intermediate, that they would still be interested in it. I'll give you an example of something that worked like that.
mhm.
When we did the 2016 robot design, that one actually got picked up not only by beginners, but people who just wanted a good robot. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So we could do something like that again. But I tell you what might be interesting. It'd be difficult, but it'd be interesting. Would be a club rover.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. So does that interest you, David?
Well, what I'm thinking is maybe this is not something for the whole group, but maybe like a subchapter of outreach to get new members involved. And it will be by just starting at a baseline. So instead of having a presentation every month, it may be just a report like, oh, we're going to do this or do this.
Yeah, if we did that, David, the way that we would do it is we would offer a series of classes like we did last time, which was build more robots.
Mhm.
And there was a series of six classes here at the Makerspace, and we're now more remote knowledgeable than we were then. I don't think we could have made remote work at all, but we met for like a lecture, and then people were expected to reach a certain construction milestone until the next lesson. And I think it went over pretty good. And it covers all the basic stuff you needed to know. Little things that, like we'd spend 2 or 3 slides on exactly how a servo worked. We'd spend a couple of slides on how does a linear regulator work. And things like that. And so you would catch what you needed to know, not necessarily all there was to know. And then at the end, we would we usually had our people, we'd go through a program, which was a beginner level program, which, by the way, is not necessarily the most efficient way to do a program, but we did it that way. And then they would load it up on their robot and let them go. And then at the end of the course, we had a specific to the class competition.
Yep, I'm very familiar with it. I was a member of that class, and that's the reason why I'm here today.
Okay.
Cool.
That's how I got interested.
Okay, so I guess the question would be, if we were to do something similar to that, would that robot be too simple? Would it be better to have a more complex robot?
I think, like I say, like as long as it has like a good base that you can build onto, the more advanced robots,
Mhm. You know,
You can definitely start basic and build up.
because
Yeah.
what happened last time was we went for something that was easy to obtain
Mhm.
and was cheap.
Yeah.
So people didn't have a whole lot of skin in the game.
Right.
If you go to something more expensive and it's a kit, I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you have a custom robot, a club
Which we could do.
robot,
Yeah.
it's a lot more work and can be difficult, and the cost is gonna go up.
Right.
It's not gonna be a $25 robot, it's gonna be probably $100 robot. And will it be better? Hell yeah. But it's, you know, it's, so you have to look at beginners, what's, you know, they're going in and saying, so like, let's say we opened it up to DMS, you know, we
Sure.
had a DMS course.
Mhm.
They would say, well, I'm kind of interested in robots, but I'm not really sure I want to put $100 in it.
Yeah.
They might say, well, I'm $25, shit, you know, I'll do that. But we don't charge for this.
Right.
And you just bought parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, that's doable. I don't know. Let me ask you, David, would you do that again?
I would do it again, but I would also suggest we make one that's even simpler. And I found one online that I'm probably going to build it, and then I'll demo it to y'all and get your feedback. But it's something that you can build.
Page or that, we can see it now, the base.
Do you have a
Can
link,
put
David?
the link in the chat?
Sure.
Yeah, 'cause I'm gonna say that, that one was pretty damn simple.
What kind was it? Just a basic couple motors?
$22 robot. It was, you couldn't buy the parts for you couldn't buy the parts for buying the kit.
So we have a newbie here that wants to build a robot.
Looks like he started.
Yes.
What is your?
He wanted to go.
Oh,
He's not interested in the wheel robots.
Well, not entirely. I mean, like, I think for real robots, I think it's more of what you put on it. That is, so like whether it's like the lidar or computer vision or
Okay.
that would interest me.
Yeah, well, if you're going, well, I'm not sure.
like a simple.
Can you pull up, is it possible to pull that link up and let us? see?
Yep, it's a YouTube link.
Can you?
Yeah, yeah.
Say, hey. David,
Let me get rid of this real quick.
So it's,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
very
Yeah.
simple. It
Can
just
you
has
share that?
servos.
I think you can share your screen, David, if you can share that
yeah,
video.
the little square with the up arrow.
Yeah. Something that could be done in an afternoon class at DMS is what I'm thinking.
Mhm.
And it just gives them a brief introduction. You come and see it for an afternoon, and then it's kind of like fishing. You try to get a little nibble from them. If you get enough nibbles, then sooner or later you'll catch a fish.
Get one hooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And that's the benefit that, that could potentially do the well one control that they run to, open VC or whatever. The key is having a base, have a good foundation based robot. I guess it's what you're after, sort of thought. And then the catch is.
Yeah, just like a foundation.
What good foundation robot can we build at what price?
So if I read David right, he's saying that there's actually two things he wants to do. One, he wants a 1 hour course that builds a very, very simple robot.
an afternoon course, probably 2.5 hours, something like that.
2.5.
Yes. So you can teach them about what a servo is basically, and a Arduino is.
Yeah.
And then a second thought would be a club robot, something a little more nicer.
That would be cool.
And I like the idea of a rover.
Yeah. I definitely got a lot of acrylic we can laser into the base.
So can we get David? David?
Yeah. Oh my.
David, can you share?
Matt, were you planning to share it?
I don't see the link. He's got it there.
Oh.
I see the link.
Yeah.
I don't-
Should be at the bottom.
Oh, can you share the link?
Yeah, you want me to?
Okay. Oh wait, never mind. Dave's got
There we
it.
go.
Let me make this bigger.
Oop.
Come on. Ah, it's not what I wanted.
Okay,
Okay, this looks like a wonky.
yeah, it is. I built one
Uh,
years back. Actually, it's nice and straightforward. It wobbles.
all right. I don't know why I can't move my screen.
Now, it's the little green hat one, right? That we're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, I was trying to scroll up to play a little bit of the video, but
Yeah, so I built one of those, only I added actually some arms on to the side. I modified the case to allow for arm. And there's variations out there where they'll have, instead of the ping sensor, they'll have an LCD effectively in the front there, so that you have faces, you can make faces and stuff. So there are variations
There
of
it goes.
that robot
okay.
out there at the top. Now there is one with arms.
Yeah,
Huge.
so
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good basic one. It's relatively cheap.
Yeah.
yeah, so you can 3D print the parts off yourself, and then it's installing 4 servos. Are y'all seeing my screen?
Yep. Yep. We're good.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so this one has arms, like you were saying. The basic one doesn't have arms, but
Right.
you can build it on. And then essentially you have an expansion board, an Arduino Nano expansion board, and an Arduino. You have ultrasonic sensor and a buzzer.
What?
And
Buzzer?
then you
Yeah,
can add
buzzer.
on things.
LED
Grid. Little speaker. I've
Mm-hmm.
seen variations of this. Yeah.
Another thing that's appealing about this is you can program it in Arduino,
Mhm.
but you can also program it in Blocky or Block, where you drag and drop the blocks.
Mhm.
And like my 8-year-old grandson is programming in that language. So the kids find that stuff appealing, and if they can take the next step to learn how to program in Arduino and see the connection.
It's got all the parts to build this thing except for the actual part itself. Check it out. Nano, it's got a nano expansion board where you get all your turbo stuff.
Mhm.
I got one of the grids for the LEDs. I found all this stuff. on
So
it.
the grid and the mouth,
You got 3D printed. This one's just 3D printed. Sorry, Doug, what's the question?
is the grid the mouth?
I think so. The LED grid is the mouth.
Yeah. And it sets right behind the 3D printed face there. Let's see if.
Fiddly.
And then
Yeah.
they've got different versions of, you can run it on LiPo or regular batteries.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'd like to work on lipo myself.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I'm looking at as a possibility. I'm also a member of the DMS animatronics group.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this is kind of a dual purpose.
Okay. That's cool.
That's
Oh, I like
cool.
that.
Yeah, so the thin wall on the 3D print is enough to
Yeah.
shine through. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah.
That would be a fun project, David. I could see that. I guess the only thing that I have problems with is that is not something that I could provide. I mean, I could make my own 3D stuff,
Yeah.
but everybody else would have to either buy the kit or make their own 3D
It seems
print.
to be a lot. Yeah. I mean, I could probably 3D print a lot of parts here.
Yeah.
But it'll just take time.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we would have them pre-printed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the other one, I gotta admit, the little cheap wheeled robot's gonna be a lot easier to do than that one. But that is, it needs to think about that one. That probably could be a 2-hour class. And we could do competition at the end to be a modified there and back.
Race.
Ah, it was kind of cool.
That was cool.
Yeah, think about
Good
that.
fun, Mike.
The big problem I have is the 3D printing time.
Yeah. There's so much more time.
yeah, I would 3D print them ahead of time, and if other people want to help print them out, that would be fine too.
I'm sorry?
I would 3D print out the parts ahead of time and to provide them to the class goers.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So how many are we talking about? Limiting it to 10?
10 would be nice. 10 to a dozen, yeah.
10 if there's an assistant to help the guy presenting.
Yeah, we definitely need a teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did teach a robotics class, about a year ago?
Yeah.
And there were 5 people in it, and it kept me very busy.
Okay. So you're suggesting limiting it to 6?
No, okay, I would say limit the first class to 6, see how it goes, evaluate, and then if we feel like we can go with 10, have it again, go with 10.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. You think about opening this up to DMS or the public and stuff, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
The intent would be
Absolutely.
that maybe.
Yeah, that's the idea is,
yeah, because we can post it on like Meetup and stuff like that. Eventbrite.
Yeah.
Get the word out.
Okay.
mhm.
Yeah, I
That'd be
guess is there any way, David, you've studied it, is there any way to make it out of laser cut parts?
I've just started on it this week, so I'm still in the process of getting parts printed out.
Okay.
Hmm.
I assume for the display, that area has to be white.
I don't know.
Just a thin wall which should shine through on any color.
It'd
probably show up better white, but.
It would be, yeah.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
just thinking out, I'm trying to think about how you could make that. I hate making boxes, 3D printed boxes. Just. They go bad.
You want something
They
more
can
organic?
Go bad so many ways.
Agreed.
So, okay. That's interesting.
It is.
It is. I like this version. I've seen other versions that are simpler that wasn't too crazy about. Yeah.
Mhm.
The real trick would be to come up with an application, something that it could do.
Right.
Well,
Well, the robot has That's what a robot's all about, right? It's having it do something.
Yeah.
But-
So,
Think about this as a kindergarten class.
yeah, but it would be nice if it could, for example, pick up a ball.
Yeah, that's first grade or fifth grade.
Yeah, well, you gotta remember, we're not really targeting, for members, we're not really targeting first graders and fifth graders.
This is outreach. This is,
Huh?
I see this as outreach, reaching out to new people that want to learn about robotics.
And the key is it needs to be reasonably priced and a reasonable base level to start off with, because not everybody knows Java, not everybody knows JSP, but you might know C or you might know Basic. So you got people on that line.
Well, I guess the kids, you said this could do blocking?
Yes.
That's the Google version with, it's a Google thing, the Microsoft partnered with makecode.org to do their own version of Scratch.
Yeah.
Well, it's something to think about. We can definitely, I got it down here. I think I captured it.
Okay. Yeah. I want to get one built and tested out. And
Yeah. Can that be the next action item? The next action item, David, is for you to show us at Tuesday.
There you go. You got 3 days.
I'll
You've
show
been
you something.
voluntold.
I'll show you something on Tuesday.
Well, I mean, just, you don't feel as it's like something that you're forced to do. I'm just saying it, but if we're gonna advance the idea,
Yeah.
it probably makes sense to have at least a working example of one. And
Oh yeah. That'll be my goal, but it won't be done by Tuesday. But
No.
it's
done by Tuesday. I just said at a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday, okay, at a Tuesday meeting.
let the record stand.
All right. Yeah. 'Cause once we have that, we can move it to the next thing.
Mhm.
Okay, cool. Good idea.
Thank you.
You're awful quiet. Anything you got in here? I'm just making sure you're not asleep over there. No, he's asleep.
Green?
Okay.
I'm good.
You're good?
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, actually, this has been very productive. We'll see how it, I'll write it up and show the ideas this Tuesday. Today's Saturday, yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday, we can do that. And we'll see what people think and how to modify it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
like it.
Okay. All right. So I'm finished. Anybody else got anything they want to do?
I'm gonna think about doing the first simple ROS
Okay.
running on,
Teleop and a
well,
distance.
no, I think just a distance sensor.
Just the distance.
Just a really basic ROS that does hook up to some hardware, like this, like a type of distance sensor. Yeah.
Okay, I got Mike written down here.
Thinking of putting it on a Pi Zero W.
Okay.
Would this be like having like a laptop talking to the Pi that
Yeah.
gets the data?
Right.
That would be a good class. That would be cool.
Then you can display it on the ROS graphic crap on.
Like
Where would you display on your PC?
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
developments on the piece.
Ubuntu. Well, I guess the Pi would have the Ubuntu.
Pi Zero.
Okay, so this is gonna be really, really, really simple robot. All right? Something like,
And then I'll add, then they're gonna find a robot platform to run teleop on.
okay,
This is just the board all by itself with a distance sensor connected. And than running Ross. It's just like,
It's really, really simple.
yeah, it's just, okay, here's a Ross. It doesn't do much except talk to that
Maybe like
Yeah.
one of those
distance
smart
sensor and
cards.
then send a topic and then the laptop grabs the topic and displays it.
Yeah, you know, like the smart, the smart card sensors, like I was telling that first robot we built in that series, it was like $22. Probably more now, but it was roughly that. You know what I'm saying? It was just the platforms, 2 yellow motors, and wheels.
Then you can put those up to the Pi Zero.
Yeah.
And teleop. I think the first thing is just no mechanics, just a sensor.
Okay.
And it's basically, hey, you got a lot of crap working.
Yeah.
Someone can duplicate that, then you're well on your way.
Okay.
I like it.
Neat. Okay. So in ending, following kind of the example of URC, except with a little extended, more bigger groups. Otherwise, instead of just a lone ranger, people helping the lone ranger, a couple of Tontos.
Yep.
Going along. We'll look at a practical PID tuning example, a basic ROS with just this distance sensor.
I can start by myself on that. Hopefully,
Yeah.
people will be interested.
I'm interested. Yeah. I'm curious
Uh,
about Ross.
A 2-hour course built around a very simple robot with the idea of Otto, I guess, as being an example,
Mhm.
which would be a 2.5 hour session open to DPRG and DMS.
Yep.
Limited to 6 or 10 people, we don't know. Then a secondary project, which would be a club robot. So it'd be a 2024 club robot that's rover based.
Mhm.
Some simple rover based. Okay, and what else?
What do you mean by rover?
Like a 2-wheeled.
Outdoor,
Oh, outdoor? Okay.
outdoor. When I say rover, I'm talking out.
Yeah.
It could be a Mark.
Literally.
Rover. That's a little complicated, but
Yeah. Oh, 1/6 scale Jeep.
yeah. But, it'll have to be something that's got a homemade base
Mhm.
because they aren't all wealthy like some folks we will talk about.
Yeah.
But
Just to
we'll
keep-
see how we can do it. And so it'll probably be like 4 wheels. Four
Yeah.
wheels, it'll be probably size, it's probably a 10
Oh, I'm
10
sure.
size. Maybe if we can get 1/6 wheels, maybe that might be nice. Yeah, maybe
Oh, yeah.
just the wheels. not-
Oh, my
not talking
gosh.
about-
Apparently JPL have an open source
That's
rover.
a 10, that's a 10 size,
So your wheels will be like that, which is
or bigger if we
which is
could.
good enough for outside.
Yeah, we can get
Yeah.
bigger ones, it'd be better.
That's cool though.
That's pretty cool.
But the biggest
Yeah.
problem outside
So,
is you got.
JPL have an open source rover.
That's
Need torque.
battery and
Maybe even simpler than that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was curious.
this is a road, this is an actual
That's
Mars
Yeah.
design.
Rover. Yep.
Yeah,
That's from
and
JPL.
Harold's already, Harold's already
I've
never done one of
Pretty
those.
one of those.
Yeah. So,
Cool.
but anyway, we'll think about that.
Sounds good. That was a productive meeting.
I mean, I feel we don't have to necessarily do all the work that they did. Like you could spend time on it. But then it also costs. We're talking here, $50 thing with some 3D printed parts and a Raspberry Pi on top of it. With a controller, it's fairly simple to go do that. And then at that point, you just make that a robot, right? You just make it a robot.
Easily.
You know what I'm talking about?
Make it autonomous.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Yeah.
The donkey
Little
dog.
phone calls.
It might be too I'm looking at how many parts you can get pretty simple, and there's enough 3D printing people around here, we could probably print the cage thing on top pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Or enough
But that's a small robot.
Yeah, this is a small robot.
I want to say that's, I was going to say 124. It's only this big.
It's only that big.
Mhm.
And the wheels are, it's
Wheels
great
are-
for,
yeah.
yeah, it's not for
Yeah.
outdoors.
We almost need one like Kareem's with the big wheels and the big, like almost toolbox kind of
Yeah,
base.
yeah. Wheels surprisingly are a big obstacle because they're so expensive.
Hmm.
But,
That's where the 3D.
Yeah, so that's where you put some TPU tires.
I'm ending the nose and giving back the pin.
Thanks, sir. David, Kareem, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
Nothing here.
I load
Awesome.
myself up. I gotta go to the
I
store.
think we're gonna close things down, so thank you all for hanging out.
All right, see you.
Thank you.
Bye.
I should be getting lunch about right now.
You don't need lunch, right?
Yeah. No, they're getting lunch, so not too concerned.
Yes.
I do have to go by the grocery store and buy kitty food to get the food.
Yeah.